Kia ora, namaste, sat sri akal, adab, vanakkam, kim cho, hello and welcome. Prime time on India Live with one of your host and those, Harman Rana. Yes, most probably this is not the studio we normally come from, and you can see different backgrounds. आज मैनू कार तो pulling idea, which was a great idea from Dale Stevens. He saved some time, and I got, why not, to save the time? And we have digital platform. It's a busy time for everyone, especially when we are talking about big days coming. 14th of October will be the last day, and on 15th of October we will have a new announcement to make. So all the MPs, all the parties are very busy, door knocking and whatnot. But I got really great opportunity to talk to one of honorable MPs from Waimakariri. He's the person, his personality is great, born and bred in Christchurch, and good to know that he shares the same schooling with Christopher Luxton. So I would like to take an opportunity to welcome Honorable Matt Doocey. Hello, Matt. Welcome to India Live.
Hi, Harman. Thank you for having me on your show in India Live, and a big hello to everyone in Canterbury, in New Zealand, and all those watching from around the world. This is exciting. And I know
It
your
is.
viewers have already worked out, not only did I share my schooling with Christopher Luxon, who's going to be the next Prime Minister, I'm sharing the same haircut as him as well.
That's true. Uh, I heard in the carpooling session that yes, your both personality looks similar, just except for the specs. If you remove the glasses, your height and feet,
Yes, that's
everything
right.
is
Maybe
great.
about like that. Yes,
So we can say brothers.
that's right.
Great. And now, Matt, if I may, I know you are the spokesperson of mental health, and when this is something which probably it's still a stereotype or stigma, we
That's
don't
right.
like to disclose if we are suffering from something, especially if I'm being to ICO. I will probably message all my friends and family saying, "Hey, I'm in ICU. I need your help or I need your support." But if I'm struggling with some depression or anxiety moods, I will like to hide it. Why is that? What is the reason behind it?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. And for a long time now, mental health has carried a lot of stigma. And it's important that we have this conversation around mental health. So thank you very much for allowing me to be on your show and talk about what I think is one of the most important issues for New Zealanders, and an issue that I think New Zealanders and Kiwis want to ensure the next government will address. And I think as a country, we've done very well breaking down the stigma of mental health. I think we've created a culture in New Zealand where more people can ask for help, and that's fantastic. But I think sadly now, when people do ask for help, that timely mental health support is not in place. So that's why Christopher Luxon, who I think will be the next Prime Minister after the October 14th election, has said that if we have a national government, we'll have New Zealand's first mental health minister, and I hope that to be me. And I think it's important that we have a minister dedicated to ensuring we have better mental health in all our communities, and whether it be in our Indian communities, Māori communities, rural communities, we need to make sure that we have appropriate services that not only continue to break down the stigma, but to help people get support when they need it the most.
That's true. That's very true. Because if I may see from last decade, all of the sudden now there's a sudden increase in depression and anxiety, and the people are actually feeling pressure. So it's great to know that National Party is considering to introduce some position where you can focus on such things. But may I ask, Matt, if because you are in this field and you are connected, why all of the sudden we can see there's a big number of people who are actually suffering from mental health issues or depressions?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question, and it's a question that a lot of countries around the world are grappling with. And when you look at the World Health Organization, they're going to say, mental health and the impacts of mental health on people is going to be one of the most problematic uh, conditions going forward. And I think we've got to make sure that we have the ability to respond to that. And I think there's a number of reasons we're seeing an increase in the level of mental health issues being presented. And one of them actually is because we have broken down the stigma of mental health. So there was always a level of mental distress in the community in previous generations. But of course, quite often people wouldn't talk about, so it wasn't seen. It was locked up behind closed doors with alcohol abuse, domestic violence, suicide rates people didn't talk about. So now part of the success is that people are coming forward when they are experiencing some stress or mental distress, and I think that should be encouraged. And that is one of the reasons we've seen an increased level of presentations. And I think as well, we've been through some very difficult times. I think of my home region here. We've been obviously through the earthquakes, which caused a lot of stress in the community, and also COVID and the fear of that, and the lockdowns and the impacts of having that physical condition as well has driven a lot of stress. So I think where we are as a country now is we need to make sure that not only do we respond to the stress in our community, but we develop initiatives about how we create well-being. We give people the skills so when they do get stressed, they're able to manage it better.
Yes, because you clearly mentioned, Matt, that COVID did impact and affected us somehow. We are still in the trauma, and most of the time we are looking at the news, and the crime rates is also increasing, which is, I believe, sometimes your mental conditioning is also being attached to it. So, is there any support we can? How can we for? How can we recover from this COVID effect or a trauma, kind of like that?
Yeah, I think there's a range of initiatives that people can actually engage in themselves. When I think of the great work the Mental Health Foundation is doing, promoting the evidence-based programs of the five ways of well-being, about connecting every day, continuing to learn, being active, taking notice, and giving back. They're all ways we can improve our mental well-being every day. And there's a range of also online programs people can engage with apps as well that promote their skills and help them understand about their own mental health and how they can promote their mental well-being as well. And I think when I talk to the young people, there's real opportunity about the mental resilience skills they learn in schools now and how we can promote that more as well. So I'd encourage people who feel like they'd like to. You can do mental health first aid courses now. You can go online and do a range of programs as well, and that helps skill everyone up to know how we can keep people well as ensuring that maybe we notice someone who is looking a bit stressed. We can actually reach out to them and support them as well. Because what's really exciting today is you're in the car and I've popped home for lunch in between a break of door knocking in my hometown of Rangiora. And I think with online technology as well, there's a real ability for people to learn themselves what keeps them well, but also have the ability to connect with people who will support them in getting further help as well.
Yes, because now we are living in multicultural country and multicultural world, if I'm not wrong. We need to support each other, and we need to understand each other conditions as well. Sometimes just saying hi to hello to our neighbor, and to know they are well. It's good to know our community will be safer and sounder. Now, if I may ask, Matt, any quick message you would like to say to our viewers today? I know the one big news you said that you are hoping on 14th of October to change the face, but any quick messages for our viewers who haven't voted yet or who are still planning to whom to support?
Well, the first message is more about to any of your viewers and listeners in India. I must say, I traveled there. Well, I was a bit younger. I backpacked northern India probably about 15 years ago now and absolutely loved it. The people were fantastic. The food was amazing. The history and scenery were just lovely. And those memories of traveling to India will stay with me for a long time. And for those who are in New Zealand, whether you've traveled here recently, or you or your parents were born here, New Zealand's a fantastic place, and we've got an amazing ability every 3 years through democracy to be part of the decision on who will lead the country and what ideas will drive us forward. I'm obviously a National MP, and I'd love for you to vote for National. We've got some difficult times ahead economically, and I think we need to make sure we've got good, strong financial management to get our books back in order and to afford to pay for good services like mental health services as well. But the point I'll leave you with is it's important that you vote. So whichever way you will decide, you'll decide what's right for you, and I respect that. But do ensure that you get out and exercise your democratic right to vote before October 14th or on October 14th.
Thank you so much, Matt. I must say you are the first MP who has said what I normally say, being neutral. At least go and vote, regardless
Yeah.
what color you're going for. Read
Yes.
their policies, and if you think that policy suits to you and what accommodate you the best, just choose the face. And I'm very surprised you're being to India, and probably that will be our for next interview after 14th of October. I might gonna chase you up and talk about how was your India
Yes.
tour and which food you like it most.
Oh, I love all the food, and like I say, I wish I had time to go further around India, but it was just northern Africa and then, northern India and then into Nepal. But
Wow.
an amazing place.
Yes, yes, amazing place, and so is New Zealand as well. Especially if I talk about Canterbury, is one of the great place to live as well. So don't forget, voting stations are open. It's a great opportunity. If you can, it's just 2 minutes. Just fill the form and put it in there. Very easy, convenient. And if you are still deciding, read their policies, please, please, please. But one should not left behind. This is the biggest power we hold and biggest responsibility we also have towards our country. So thank you so much, Matt, for your great time. And I love your green garden. I hope one day I can visit with that green garden in Rangiora. And I hope
No
you have a
problem. You're
lovely
more than
lunch.
welcome anytime. You could
Thank
bring
you.
some Indian food, and we could sit down and have some lunch. It would be
Th-
great.
That would be great. That would be amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. So
Thanks,
this
Harman.
was this was a great personality from Canterbury, our very own Christchurch born and bred Honorable Matt Doocey from National Party. ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਹਰ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਲੀਜ਼ 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 ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਦ ਰਾਈਟ ਹਾਈਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਸਿਰਫ 14 ਤਾਰੀਖ ਤੱਕ ਇੱਕ ਹਫਤਾ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਹਫਤਾ 10 ਦਿਨ ਪਲੀਜ਼ 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 ਆਪਣੀ VOTING ਪਾਵਰ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਯੂਜ਼ਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਸਿਬਿਲਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੋਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਏਗੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸੁਣਵਾਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਸੋ 3 ਸਾਲ ਹੋਰ ਨਾ ਰੋਂਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਵੇਟ ਨਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਦ ਰਾਈਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਗੋ ਐਂਡ ਡੂ VOTING ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਮੈਂ ਹਰਮਨਜੀਤ ਕੌਰ ਰਾਣਾ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਲਾਈਵ ਤੋਂ